Hello there, internet. MegaMogwai here, and I got another Legends of Runeterra video for you guys today. And today's the day in which I would encourage you to get yourself a glass of wine, just swing it around and ponder as you exert some extreme arrogance. As you know, your IQ is bigger than everybody else's, and in order for you to finally feel like your intelligence is being met with a proper deck list, I got just the toy for you. It is Improbulator, which is a new Heimerdinger Lux deck that actually is an upgraded version of a video that I uploaded not too long ago. But I uploaded this video back when Flash of Brilliance was still at 4 mana after the atrocity that occurred with the Heimerdinger nerf, which, you know, I was happy to see. But the Flash of Brilliance nerf was definitely a step too far, and Riot has backtracked on this and brought back Flash of Brilliance to 3 mana, which has numerous implications. First of all, it's a straight up buff. Naturally, we don't have to technically pay any sort of mana for this effect anymore, which makes this a much more reliable card as it allows us to play it alongside Heimerdinger or Lux on curve with our spell mana in the back. And on top of this, it is 3 mana now, which means that it synergizes with Tri-Beam Improbulator, which we are choosing to run as a 2-of in this deck. I've messed around with this card prior, but it wasn't an Ezreal Draven deck, and that deck was pretty underwhelming compared to other variants of Ezreal. And, you know, speaking of Ezreal, the poor guy got pretty nuked in the recent patch. So now I am really excited to actually feature Improbulator in a proper deck, first of all, and second of all, in a Heimerdinger deck, because the card is technically Heimerdinger's, you know, turret, right? So I think it's pretty fitting. And in case you guys don't know, Heimerdinger is actually one of my favorite champions of all time. One of my top 5 favorite champions. I'm working on that video, by the way. I love Heimerdinger. With the actual open beta at first, before Rising Tides was a thing and we got introduced to Twisted Fate, Heimerdinger was my favorite champion out of the entire roster. And I was one of the first people who actually played a Heimerdinger control deck. Like, back in the day, that was considered to be a meme until people realize how strong that monstrosity ended up being. So Heimerdinger is just a really, really cool champion from a design perspective. I love the way that he functions. I think it's super thematic. It fits perfectly with his League of Legends character, and I just love how he plays out in the card game. You're playing spells, and these spells are converting into a 0 mana fleeting turret of the same cost as the spell. So you have a wide variety of different turrets that you can generate through your spells, at each and every single one of them with their own keyword and their own different ways of threatening the opponent through either overwhelm, fearsome, elusive as a 6 mana one, or just a big old T-Hex to stomp down all of our foes. As we have a spell-based, I would say control / mid-range deck with both Heimerdinger and Lux. I love playing pairing Heimerdinger with Lux because they obviously both benefit from the same type of cards, and I love playing with Lux as well. This is my personal favorite variant of Heimerdinger with Demacia instead of like the standard Ionia variant with Karma and or the likes of Vi. I really, really like this more because it is more synergistic and honestly just way more fun and satisfying to play, in my opinion. That may be the edgelord within me trying to voice out a little bit. So yeah, when it comes to spells, we have a full set of Tri-Beam, we have Mystic Shot, we have a full set of Single Combat, alongside a bunch of 3 mana spells to synergize with our Improbulator in the form of not only Prismatic Barrier for protection and succession, which I consider this a staple for any sort of Heimerdinger-based Demacia build, as we are able to generate a 3/3 for 3 mana and also trigger both our Heimerdinger and our Lux's spell requirements. As we also have a couple of Vanguard Sergeants because we have 4 Demacia being generated by the straight drop, and we have another card that also gives us a turn 3 play that happens to work with Tri-Beam Improbulator, and he gives us a card to level up Lux in the late game that can also boost up a full-on board state developed by Heimerdinger and his turrets. We can go for 4 Demacia, and then we can capitalize on this with Relentless Pursuit. This is one of the most key cards in this deck. I'm a big advocate for rally effects in Legends of Runeterra. I think it's one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful mechanic in the game. Being able to threaten your opponent with multiple attacks is also one of the best answers to some of these late-game greedy ramp decks. Being able to rally on them for a shitload of damage and for lethal most of the time is a very powerful trait for a deck to have. Having the ability to threaten your opponent with multiple attacks is really strong, basically is what I'm trying to say. And in this kind of deck, it's no different because we are spreading out really well with Heimerdinger and our turrets. So being able to attack them multiple times in a turn is just really glorious. And the fact that Vanguard Sergeant promotes that sort of play even better, while also leveling up Lux and giving us turrets with Heimerdinger, makes them a really solid 3-drop to go for, especially because of, like I mentioned, the Improbulator also benefiting from that, because I do want to have as many 3-mana plays as I can without hindering the curve too much for the sake of just one card, right? Which is why I think this distribution is just right, as we have a full set of Remembrance alongside a one-off of back-to-back, which can be really good with Relentless Pursuit, and also a very nice way to capitalize on the turrets and get some nice damage going through, while also instantly leveling up Lux at burst speed, which is very important, and a one-off of Progress Day so that we don't run out of gas. Because Heimerdinger becomes Progress Day, if we have multiple copies of him, we don't really need to run more than one, but I have found that one copy of this card really patches things up and makes our deck consistently valuable, right? And makes it so that we don't ever really run out of gas with this build if we sequence things properly. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the deck list right there. Also, big shout outs to Mage Seeker Persuader. Since we are playing Remembrance and we like to play Remembrance on turn 3, Mage Seeker Persuader becomes an overpowered 2-drop, quite simply. A 2-mana 4/3 with Challenger that helps us a lot with our strategy, and honestly helps any deck, really. Like a 2-mana 4/3 with Challenger is ridiculous, really. And Ranger's Resolve to protect our turrets from removal. Ranger's Resolve is pretty much an auto-include in the majority of Demacia decks, in my opinion, because it is a great counter to Bilgewater, which is one of the king regions right now. It's a great answer to Riptide Rex, and also helps us against Shadow Owls-based decks with Withering Wail, Unspeakable Horrors, etc. Since our turrets are very, very frail, this toughness play for just 1 mana can allow us to preserve our board state, and it is really good because of that, specifically because of the environment we're in. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the deck right there. Really fun to play. Definitely one of my favorite decks to play right now, and very effective too. Believe it or not, Heimerdinger is back, and I highly encourage you guys to try this deck out. It worked wonders for me, and I'm going to let my gameplay that I recorded live today in Masters Rank speak for itself. I got some pretty good games overall, and a pretty long session in general, so I think you guys will like it. And I will stop talking. That was Whole Day. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for daily Legends of Runeterra content. I do post a new deck every single day. Tomorrow we'll be back at it with more. I believe Snapvines will be tomorrow's video, which I'm excited for. I got a pretty cool list for that too. And if you guys want any card, if there's any card you want me to showcase, or any card recently that was buffed, or even something else, let me know. So I constantly have new ideas for videos and stuff. And yeah, love ya. Enjoy the matches. And I'll see you tomorrow. Alright. Let's improbulate. I brought my glasses to boost my IQ, to match Mr. Dinger's, as we have a interesting hand here. Double Mage Seeker Persuader with single combat and succession. Considering the matchup and how they may end up having a bit of a slow start themselves, I think I can afford to go for a full mulligan, actually. Because I want to find one of my engines, first of all, and I would like to see a Remembrance. So the fact that I have both of my champions in my opening hand, alongside a Remembrance to go for on turn 3, is pretty ideal. Considering the nature of the matchup here, it seems our opponent may actually just end up doing the same, going for a turn 3 Remembrance. Yep. I could go for my own Remembrance, or I could just blow this thing back with a thermogenic beam, and I don't know about that. I don't know about you, but I think I'm a pretty big fan of that. I mean, like, what could I pull here that would not match up well against this? Pretty much all the other pulls like match up well against this, right? I think I want to preserve my yeah, I'm gonna do this. This is a 4/5. Most of the variants will be superior. Even the 5/5 will be able to shut it down. You will be scoured from this land. Like, even though we got technically the worst one, stat-wise, you know, everything beats that dragon. That dragon is great when the opponent's not playing Remembrance themselves, right? Oh, right.
Daylight warms the heart and lights the way.
We're gonna pass here because we want to set up Heimerdinger. even though we don't really have...
Our strength is forever at its zenith.
Blessed daylight
Okay,
surrounds
that's
you.
actually pretty damn good, because I can single combat here. Unless he has like a, something random like a ranged resolve.
What seems to be the problem?
This should work out. Because if he wishes to attack with Robin, then I can actually get a 2-for-1 trade with this. Wow, that's huge. That's huge. Well, okay then. With Soul Combat here, unless he has Ranger's Resolve, yeah. We'll knock that dragon out and save Heimerdinger from imminent death. And now the question is, do I resort to developing Lux or not? I'm gonna pass. I'm going to pass. I don't really have a good attack anyways. My Reading Guardian can trade with the Sorry Priestess, so I want to preserve her purely as a blocker at this point. I want to make sure that if I develop Lux, I'm not left wide open. Like he has invoked a card, and I don't know what it could be. Like it could be an Obliterate for 6 mana. But I want to make sure I do things right here.
Progress waits for no one.
Sunlight guiding my brethren.
Single combat is still a possibility. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about that. Am I willing to lose my Lux here? Okay, so this is very interesting. I don't want to play into a single combat. I really don't.
Dimensions don't determine themselves.
If I wait one turn here... If I wait one turn here... I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna make sure that I have single combat backup. Now with double flash or brilliance too, this is looking pretty neat.
Let the light guide
Let the light guide you. Alright, so we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand. 7 cards. This will translate into 8, 9, 10, right? 8, 2 turrets and 10, yeah. So I can actually go for double flash or brilliance here. Just making sure I'm not messing this up. 4, 8. Okay, I do this again. We go to 9. And we go to 10.
I've been hiding my light too long.
And now I can attempt to go for a single combat with this onto this, even though a single combat of his own will counter. No, actually. Yeah. I have a barrier. May as well use my barrier. He could have a concerted strike himself. But if that's the case, then he spends 5 mana. And I get to preserve my Heimerdinger. We get a couple of turrets here, and we have this little visual bug here. But I like this line of play. Concerted strike is a good answer. Single combat as well, you know. Yeah, so combat works.
Added to the bug list.
We lose Heimerdinger, but we still preserve Lux on the board. Now, my Lux is at 2, which means... What does this mean? Do I actually go for a thermogenic beam into a final spark onto this? I think that's worth it, to be honest. I mean, the only way this gets shut... I mean, this gets shut down with the 2 mana with the guiding touch, though. That's a little bit annoying. Maybe I'm better off doing this.
By the light.
I eliminate a blocker anyways, and next turn I'm gonna have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 mana. 10 mana, which allows me to do this and this, which I really do like. I see no reason not to go for the Demacia next turn. I think I may go for the open attack first, yeah.
Banish the unworthy!
What if he has a Judgment? Judgment would really suck. I'm a little bit worried about that, actually. I'm a little bit concerned about Judgment. I'm gonna go for the
You will be scoured from this land!
Back, heretic.
Cower before our might. Back, unbeliever!
Not having like single combat myself is definitely concerning, but we are able to power through. That's great.
Hope burns on.
All right, with this relentless pursuit, we can definitely catch him off guard here.
My faith protects me.
I'm gonna go with that Succession.
The sun is shining.
We should do. We're gonna go for a Remembrance because if our opponent kills Lux, for example, in the process with a single combat, then we will be able to enable another Remembrance and we get the lethal on him. And we shut him down.
Did we win?
We did, Lux. We did. Happy with how I played that one, honestly. Pretty good. You know, that's a pretty strong deck, even though it had 3 champions. Normally that's Lux, Leona, but they probably had like Aurelion Sol as a one-off. Like I would guess that maybe like 2 copies of Leona, 3 copies of Lux, and 1 Aurelion Sol or something of the nature. So it was a variation on what is deemed by many as one of the best decks in the meta, right? And we're able to completely outvalue it. So because of our, like, even though Heimerdinger got answered, we got really strong value out of him, and God, I really felt the rebuff to Flash of Brilliance right there, because I was playing with this deck before when Flash of Brilliance with a 4 mana, and it's a completely different story. So I would like to get some Improbulator synergy in this video, so yeah, round 2, let's go. I guess it's a rematch, ladies and gentlemen. I guess that's what we're about today. Back to back. I'm gonna go ahead and keep Heimerdinger. Mulligan away everything else though, as I do hope to find stuff like Remembrance, Thermogenic Beam is good as well. Flash of Brilliance would be ideal. Like I love seeing Heimerdinger with as many Flash of Brilliances as possible. Oh, there's one. Brilliant. Will we see a Remembrance again? Oh, let's find out. Alright. I would assume he's fishing for Obliterate.
The heart and lights the way.
We're going Remembrance. Ooh, that's nice. Bum, 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 bum. We're gonna attack, that way we grow our stat line and we get a hit off before Leona can potentially come down and stun us. Very important if you're facing a deck with Leona on turn 4, you wanna get your open attacks rolling! Yeah, 4 million IQ, I know. It's the classes. Oh, nutty. Well, that just happened. Yeah, we can't use Prismatic Barrier because we will be silenced, which means our barrier will be removed. And our dragon will die anyways. I cry every time. I cry every damn time. Now we have a 2 mana. Now we have a enabled Mace Seeker Persuader, which is really neat. Our opponent probably holding up an Obliterate in his hand. I'm gonna play Heimerdinger anyways, because if he has it, he has it.
Oh, the
Sweet smell of science. I have protection for something else, you know, with Prismatic Barrier. But if he found an Obliterate with that, he found it. I still will get some momentum with Flash of Brilliance.
The dawn has arrived.
Or not.
Glorious light rains down.
That's actually fantastic. No reason to go for this right now.
Answer to me.
I'll take the hit. I'm gonna wait for him to commit something before I resort to my barrier. That's pretty neat. I could go for a card draw, but I have good enough plays to spread around here. Let's start off with you. Let's get some brilliance in there.
Yes,
Again! Again! Alright, yeah, I don't mind. This puts me at 7 mana. There's not really much of a difference. I'm gonna go Succession here. Because this may be a good chance for my opponent to try to basically single combat me. As this Succession would provide me with a lot of value, or not. I mean, I don't know about you, but I do like going wide. This Hextech Transmogulator could be interesting.
The light follows.
Ooh. I can't really do much about that now, but I do have a single combat here, which is...
and fire!
The problem is that the moment I go for something like Thermogenic Beam, I leave myself wide open to a single combat. I can't really allow that to happen.
Dimensions don't determine themselves.
Mages can't hide from me.
So I'm gonna play the Persuader here. I would like to get some damage on my opponent, but I don't think I have a clear attack here. I don't like my attacks here. I'm gonna pass. Him having the barrier over there, amongst other things, really makes it awkward for us. I want to preserve my options. I want to see if I can continue building this board. I'm not particularly tied to... I mean, I would like to level up this Heimerdinger. Like, I'm pretty close. But I need to always keep the Prismatic Barrier in hand. Our opponent just passes. Which is certainly interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I just want to resort to this, to be honest.
The only holiday worth celebrating. They said it could be done. Fancy collective knowledge.
You may as well spread out. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can go Flash of Brilliance, and then we can resort to Prismatic Barrier. I would love to single combat here, even though Prismatic Barrier could be a thing. I'm gonna try. He's not going to be playing Prismatic Barrier himself. It's just if he has another Lux in hand, which is definitely likely, right? But I think what's actually happening is that my opponent has like a single combat instead. So he's going to be using single combat to clear something else, like my Heimerdinger. Yeah. And I'm completely fine with that.
Unforeseen outcome.
I'm completely fine with that. Because he doesn't get any final spark or anything like that. And I would like to Thermo Beam here, actually. We got the Improbulator here at 3 mana, ironic enough. Single, like, I am still concerned about a Judgment here.
Call you can't outrun justice.
I'm still gonna go for this attack though, because we are threatening a shitload of damage. Dropping down to 8. Threatening him with a Relentless Pursuit that he knows exists now. Okay.
What seems to be the problem?
We drop another Heimerdinger. And we call that turn. We have the Hextech Transmogulator here to get rid of this. Bum, bum.
You will be scoured from this land.
See what he does. This is a big commitment on my end. Like, it's 6 mana. It's 6 mana we're spending here. But if it goes through, I also get a very powerful turret. And I still have mana to spare, right? Like, I still have... It is a big commitment, no matter how you look at it. But it's one of the cleanest ways that I have of dealing with this Radiant Guardian. Which is otherwise going to be a bit of a nuisance. Okay. So I'm gonna resort to this. Which grants me barrier. Okay, we get hushed. So that's... it is what it is. We are still representing lethal on board.
Proud warriors of the sun's true light.
I think I want a thermogenic beam here. As this will pump up my Tribeam Improbulator.
Her light will always rise.
I think attacking here is... I mean, I just really like the Tribeam Improbulator here. Like, what is he gonna do? This gives me a way to remove that and also develops my board at the same time. Woohoo! Look at that, boy!
Justice will be served.
Okay, that is a little bit of a nuisance, not gonna lie. Let's think about things here. Yeah, I should have thought about that. Oh shit. Alright, was this a mistake? Well, if regardless of whether it was or not, it doesn't matter. What's done is done. The question is, do I attack first?
Go ahead, skin.
Hold back the darkness. I will end this here. Stay back.
This is why I attack with his order, because I know that he doesn't want to try to block Senna. He's too afraid of me having something to trigger that. So then after I attack with Senna, I dispose my attackers in order from least important to most important, right? The worst stats to the best stats, because I value like the toughness on this more than just a 3/3. So I made it so that he in case I have some crazy buff, he needs to get the lifesteal earlier, and this is fine by me. Because now I enable a Remembrance at 5 mana, which keeps my single combat option open. Which is very important. I did end up getting the Challenger, which is what I... Like, if I knew I was gonna get this, I would have gone for the lethal there. But keeping my single combat open here is really, really important. Next time I'm gonna have a total of 12. Ooh, okay. I may as well deal with this. I may as well deal with this, right? No, I'm gonna keep my shit. Yeah. I have blockers anyways. I have back-to-back, that's really neat. I mean, we're not vulnerable to like the... Is it called the Supernova? There's one... No, Supernova is the 9-mana one. There's another one that's like another... You know, it's like a black hole that basically... Okay, so we're gonna deal with you like this. Okay. We could be witnessing another.
Virtue guides me.
Not much we can do here.
Purity and peace.
We're going for lethal here. Hush. All right. That's 4, 7, 9. Maybe I could have done things. Maybe I could have buffed you instead. No, but he would have still been able to hush that at all times. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay. I'll shoot this down with the Mystic Shot.
Hope burns on.
In formation!
In formation! And we'll drop this. We'll see if we can actually make it out of this, man. Relentless Pursuit, that's huge. That's actually huge. Alright, I will try to do this. I'm gonna go for this now. Hey! Got him! Got him, baby! Woo! There we go! There we go. No champions, you know, we ran a gas there for a while, but we just kept coming. Kept coming, and the Relentless Pursuit did him in. Ooh, that was a tight one though. Alright, that's a back-to-back series. Okay, let's see if we can find a different matchup, because that's already like 30 minutes of a video, so I'll see you guys in round 3. Okay. Karma Fresh. Alright. That brings you back. We have Heimerdinger with Flash of Brilliance, which we're definitely going to keep. I also like the Prismatic Barrier, even though it's very easy for them to like navigate around that with a combination of that into a... Yeah, I actually don't mind the Mystic Shot either. I'm not sure what units... No, I'm going to replace the Mystic Shot because I'm not sure what units are going to be threatening me with initially. Now, I like Secession more. I like the Prismatic Barrier because it counters Grasp of the Undying, even though a Vile Feast or Unspeakable Horror can just deny the barrier, right? So... It may not be the smartest keep, but I will keep it. This is a pretty good hand for Tri-Beam Improbulator, though. That would be a nice card to draw. Relentless Pursuit is also really, really key here. I could just develop a Secession. I think I want to. I think I really want to apply pressure here. Because of the nature of the matchup, they're a very slow deck themselves, so I may as well try to go in
Discipline
and steal! Just double 3-drop, like 2 3/3s. At this point, it's hard for him to answer this. Like, they could have Grasp of the Undying or something, but they don't have... Like, I more or less know how this deck is structured, and I know that they struggle with this sort of, like, early pressure. Which is why we're, you know, we're just going in. Yep.
for the fallen!
For the fallen! These two arts are pretty similar. I guess it's the before and after. You know, it's a senpai. Senpai died. So, he wanted to avenge him. That's what I'm gonna assume happened. Again, 6 mana. He definitely has something like a Grasp of the Undying, but he doesn't really want to waste it on a unit like this. But if he doesn't do anything, he's taking 6 to the face, and that's not something he's really in the mood for. Next turn, we can just pass, carry over the spell mana, and work for a Heimerdinger setup. Okay, see that's. I mean, he got the card draw, but he definitely is sacrificing the tempo here. That's great. We love seeing that. Double Heimerdinger is also pretty fantastic as well. Gotta keep in mind though that Withering Wail is a thing, so I don't want to rely too much on my turrets. I would like to find Rager's Resolve. That would be really neat. Our plan is very simple here though. We're passing. I mean, it depends though. No, we're definitely passing. He's thinking about it. Your boy's thinking about it. I love to see a grasp here. I love seeing that. I'm not even gonna go for Prismatic Barrier. We are going Mr. Dinger.
Answers.
I know you do. I know you do, my boy. You're the smarterest. Show me that grasp. Show me that grasp. Okay, that's not a grasp. That's fine though. I would like to do this and play a Secession. Yeah, I'm gonna be aggressive. Gotta be aggressive, baby. We have this Relentless Pursuit in the back as well. Attack formation! Let's get him down to 8. Make it so that he has to be very, very careful.
I taste purple. Yay.
For 3 mana, what can he do to Heimerdinger? The answer is nada.
Order, entropy, a never-ending cycle.
May as well drop this here.
Walking is strange.
I'm gonna block Apex Turret into him, because Apex Turret is by far the most vulnerable considering the matchup. I'm facing Shadow Owl's base control, so having 1 health is not really something good. Which is why I will be using this as a blocker.
Okay.
Alright, so we are at Ruination range. We have a surprise Relentless Pursuit here, so I want to go for an open attack first. For the Fallen! Drop him down to 5. And now is when we start getting in there. We have a total of 8 mana. Yeah. Ah, he denies. Alright. Okay.
Shoot, shoot! That was years in the making.
Alright. We need to, whatever we do, we need to make sure that we set up a... I think just dropping... Okay, so next turn we have a total of 8 mana. Which does not give us the ability to do that and that. I'm gonna pass here, actually. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I play this, I go down to 7. I draw 3 cards, but I don't actually get that. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Play this. I go down to 7 and draw 3 cards, and I don't get the thing.
Dimensions don't determine themselves. Yes, yes, again.
He's really pairing here. We're definitely going for Secession. We are baiting a... We're basically baiting a Ruination. So we're making use of this because we have double Remembrance here. So if he does go for a Ruination, we're basically getting few Remembrances plus a Vanguard Sergeant to drop. So we're taking a line of play here that makes us invulnerable to that. And we're also making sure that we're not, like, overly vulnerable to the likes of Withering Wail either. He's worried. He's worried about me passing here. Okay. Okay, buddy. Yeah, this is fine. I could just play another Heimerdinger, but I'm gonna drop you first. I'm going for the kill here. So I'm gonna go for Remembrance. Bam, bam, bam. There we go. Beautiful. Attack formation! Oh, that's too expensive. Spending 5 mana? Yep. Not gonna work out. Shut him down, boys! We smorked the control deck. And I was waiting for like a phrase there, but I forgot that Heimerdinger was no longer on the board. No epic win champion phrases today. I cry every time. Yeah, that's what I like about this deck a lot. The Relentless Pursuit gives us a lot of game against opposing control decks. And it gives us some really strong, like, even though this is technically like a spell-based control build, it is actually like a very, it's not really that. It's sort of like a mid-range list in a way, right? It has some control elements to it, but it has the ability to spread out really fast with Heimerdinger. And the threat of like rally effects with all my turrets is just really, really devastating. I don't know, I really like this deck. Have I said I like this deck? Okay, so we're facing some good old Swing, Twisted Fate. I would love to see stuff like Ranged Resolve here. I'm gonna keep the Remembrance and the single combat. I should probably keep the Thermogenic Beam, but if I'm gonna go for Remembrance, I shouldn't. I'm gonna mulligan these two away. Alright, we got the Thermo back. We do have our Maze Seeker Persuader as well. Relentless Pursuit could also come into play. But having the turn 3 Remembrance to enable the Maze Seeker Persuader is really neat. We could definitely be expecting a Arachnoid Sentry into a Ravenous Flock here. Which would be really fucking brutal. Okay. Alright. I mean...
Mages can't hide from me.
2 mana 4/3 with Challenger. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll set that up before I attack here. So no early plays from our opponent. I really was expecting an Arachnoid Sentry into a Flock there, which, like I said, would hit us really, really hard. But if he didn't do that turn, he definitely doesn't have this
lost
then.
a fair game.
Okay.
Played one. Something for all of you.
Stand in judgment.
I'm gonna challenge like this. Definitely expecting the Ravenous Flock here. We could see double Ravenous Flock. Like I'll likely be utilizing Thermal Beam to finish that off. Okay, so... I'm gonna pass here. I don't need to Thermal Beam just yet. I really don't. Like the moment this Twisted Fate becomes a threat, I'll just single combat into it.
Smiling.
Pass here. I'm gonna wait for him to start resorting to... Okay. Definitely not what I was expecting there.
We can do this.
I'm gonna play Lux. I was definitely expecting him to take advantage of the plunder. I didn't want to drop Heimerdinger there. Heimerdinger's also like, he's good. He can be okay in this matchup, but he's also vulnerable. Like, he's very easy for my opponent to remove, and my turrets are also very removable as well. They're vulnerable to make it rain. Until I have Ranger's Resolve, I won't see I mean, Heimerdinger, you know, once I have the mana, I'll definitely go for it. Okay.
I see all. You can't outrun justice.
I think I do want to try to trade this for this.
All hands on deck!
Gotta think about things here. If I play Heimerdinger, I can't level up Lux this turn. And that is definitely a bit of a liability here. I need to develop some sort of defense as well. So I'm gonna go for Remembrance. Sure.
I've been hiding my light too long.
Double pay for the next kill!
I take the hit from this. Ravenous Flock. We're gonna try to protect against that. Is it really worth it for us to? No, I think it's fine.
Going to the light.
Ready for deployment!
I'm gonna play the Vanguard Defender here.
Let the light guide you.
And Lux.
For conquest! For empire!
Form up!
You picked the losing side!
I'm worried about a Riptide Rex here.
La, 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 la.
Could have been anything else. I'm gonna go for single combat here.
Fire!
This invites the Riptide Rex, unfortunately.
There'll be blood in the water!
2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I actually, wow, because of distribution, I actually live. That's crazy. Oh, Defender! Defending. We are pretty close. If we go for a Heimerdinger though, unfortunately, I mean we can take on an attack, right? No, I don't know if Heimerdinger is what we can afford right now. This is tricky. This is actually tricky. If I could go for a Prismatic Barrier. Yeah, I can go for Prismatic Barrier into a single combat.
Demacian steel. Try Demacian magic.
I have to do this before he gets to attack.
A beacon through the dark.
I think I'd love to play Heimerdinger here now. Even though Ravenous Flock could be a thing.
Answers, I have them.
We have the Relentless Pursuit now.
Into battle with hearts aglow.
Glory, courage, excuses for war.
I'm gonna go for Relentless Pursuit.
Dimensions don't determine themselves.
I won't stand by.
We're gonna blast him that way. Daddy Swain is very scary, but Lux and Heimerdinger can team up, and they can beat him.
Full blast!
Full blast! We get the Storm Lobber now, and we go wide, boys. And we lock him down with Rally again, baby. There we go. Oh, nice.
I apologize.
With the PM. Alright, so we climbed, baby. We climbed to 208. Fuck yeah. We didn't get to showcase Tri-Beam and Improbulator, so that'll have to wait for the... Like, I won't be able to use that as the thumbnail. I'll still go with the title because that's the idea of the deck. But no Tri-Beam and Improbulator. I mean, that's the thing about live recording, right? Like, I have a small sample size of games, and a lot of times I don't get to showcase the card that I want to showcase because I don't draw it. Even though it has done great stuff for me in... I haven't played it today, right? Maybe my memory may be a little bit iffy. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure... I'd have to look back because I don't remember the first game exactly. It's been a long session. So... yeah, regardless, really like this deck. It feels very competitive, and it's just really nice to see Flash of Brilliance back at 3 mana. Heimerdinger is such a joy to play, and I really enjoy this version much more than the Ionia variants of Heimerdinger with either Karma or Vi. I feel like those are a little bit more straightforward, and this one has more of that feeling of like creating your army of robots and then getting to attack multiple times with them. I love rally effects. I love Lux, and I love combining these two champions together, and hopefully you guys enjoy the video as much as I did recording it, especially with my, you know, enhanced IQ for today's content. And that's where we're going to leave it. Have a solid day. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for daily Legends of Runeterra content. Love ya. I'll see you tomorrow.